Good day and welcome to CAT-TV. We are here to talk about a very exciting topic today, a program that helps senior citizens to get updated jobs training, updated skills, and get back into the job market. My name is Mary Branagan. I am the Deputy Project Director for Vermont Associates for Training and Development. Vermont Associates is a private nonprofit corporation, and we operate the Senior Community Service Employment Program. We shorten that to SCSEP, or CSEP. CSEP is the oldest jobs training program in the country, funded through the United States Department of Labor. It is part of the Older Americans Act, and it is the only jobs training program that is specifically for seniors age 55 plus. I am very happy to have with me today some guests with us. We have Mr. Peter Balterman, a current participant in the SCSEP. We have Mr. Michael Washington, a former participant of the SCSEP who left the program and has an exciting new job. And I also have with me a colleague, Mr. Brian White, who works in our Bennington office, and he is a mature worker specialist. And we have a lot to talk about today, so we'll jump into it. So Brian, why don't you kick us off by telling us a little about what the SCSEP does? Can you tell us what the program is designed to do?
We take mature people, 55 and older, bring them into the program, place them at what we call host sites. We try and train them in 4 categories and get them additional training if they already have some. The object is, of course, to get them this training and then help them get permanent employment.
Exactly. So can you tell us a little about the training process? So essentially what we do is we place a senior who is currently otherwise unemployed into a paid internship at a nonprofit in their area. Would you be able to tell me more about the types of training that you're offering in Bennington now? We train in 4 areas of the economy. Why don't you take us through that and tell us what those areas are that we provide training in for people looking for jobs?
We train in healthcare, retail, customer service, and food preparation.
Excellent. And the reason that we do that, I think we can summarize to say that we try to train people for jobs that actually exist in the job market, not the job that they dream of necessarily, but the job that they are realistically going to obtain in a short period of time with training that we can easily provide them. So people go into the program, come into a paid internship at a nonprofit. Brian, can you tell us a little about the nonprofits you're working with in Bennington now?
Actually, they're all beautiful people to work with, and the host agency supervisors are very congenial. They're very cooperative in providing training to our participants, and we all work pretty well together.
Yeah, I agree. I think our partner agencies are absolutely excellent. Give us a few examples of what are our, we call a partner agency a host site. Someone comes into the program and trains at a host site for 20 hours a week. So it's a transition program that helps people move from being completely unemployed to being in a program that gets them back in the job for 20 hours a week while they get updated skills and then transition out into regular employment. What are some of the agencies you work with right now?
We work with Goodwill. We work with BPI, Bennington Project Independence. We work with Southern Vermont Medical Center. We work with One World Conservation.
A very diverse group.
Meals on Wheels.
A very diverse group. So we have 7 offices in the state of Vermont. We provide statewide services. One of our offices is here in downtown Bennington. And the host sites that you listed are very much representative of the partner agencies that we have statewide. We also operate the same program in the state of Connecticut. And the nonprofits that we work with are all either 501c3 nonprofits or public municipalities. Something like a museum, a hospital, a school, a police station, town clerk's offices. Those are very much typical host agencies. And the training experience tends to be overwhelmingly positive. People tend to really enjoy the type of training that they receive in the program. With that, let's turn it over to Mr. Peter Balterman. Peter, you're a participant in the program now.
I am.
And how long have you been in the program?
I've been in the program for about 6 weeks, and I'm enjoying the experience very much. I find that Brian was very instrumental in helping me gain the confidence necessary to do the job, because I had certain apprehensions as an older worker coming back in and doing the job. I was coming off of a job which basically had me employed for 5 hours a week, which was not enough to make it worth my while. So I basically resigned from that position, which made me eligible for this one. I currently work at Brock, which I find very gratifying because I've used Brock's services throughout my recent adult life. I saw people that I'd used services from.
And Peter, for any viewers who are out of town or watching this online, can you tell us some more about Brock? Brock is the community action agency here in Bennington, correct?
Bennington, Rutland, occupational.
It's the community action in Bennington.
That is correct.
In southern Vermont. And what are some of the things that you do when you're at your host site? When you're at Brock, what do you do?
I'm basically the receptionist, and basically I answer the phone and make sure that the people get to the right people.
Excellent.
So
you're in a position where you can help other people?
Pretty much.
Yeah. How does that feel?
It feels good. Basically, I have to have empathy with the people. I have to, having been, as I said, a Brock participant, I'm able to answer their questions with empathy, and I think that that's very important.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Employers often talk about how the most important skills that they can find in an employee are the skills of being good at customer service, having empathy, being a good listener. I also hear people say that those are skills that you gain with the experience of living, that an older person is very likely to have those skills intuitively. Do you think that's true?
I do. I think that I was talking about being as an older worker in that quiet desperation phase. You get worried about not being able to be hired at 65, and I think that where you guys come in play is saying you are not, you're not to be discounted. You bring value to the marketplace, and don't discount that.
I absolutely believe that. I believe that mature workers have tremendous value and are a tremendous asset, never a liability for an employer. I truly believe that. Tell me more about your experience in the program. So you're at your host agency, and I believe you're taking some computer training as well. Is that correct?
That is correct. Well, what happened is, thanks to Brian, I got involved with
is it JFI?
Jobs for Independence.
Thank you. Yep.
Thank you. And I got elected to the enhanced program, which means that they offer me more services than normally in the package. And one of those services is computer training at CCV, which they will pick up the tab for.
Excellent.
And for an older worker, I have a master's degree in accounting. But we didn't, I could tell you about Fortran and COBOL, but that has absolutely nothing to do with computers of this day and age. I'm kind of obsolete, so I need to be brought up to speed on computers.
Well, I hear people say that as soon as they learn the software, they change it and they come out with the new version. So I don't think that is a mature worker problem. I think that's a problem for everybody, that computer training never stops. It never stops. Brian, do you find that most of the people who come into the program need some kind of computer skills update?
Oh yes, even myself, and I've been around computers all my life basically, but oh yeah, I can always use it. It just, if you go out and buy a new computer, take it home, unpack it, hook it up, guess what?
It's obsolete.
First time you turned on, nope, it's obsolete. Now we got a whole new do.
Good.
But yeah, I think a lot of the older people, the average older person, I don't think probably had the advantage I did to even be around them as much as I was. So, yeah, everybody can use computer updating. Everybody can.
Yeah, good. So all of the training that you're receiving, Peter, including any computer training that you do with Brian, is paid. So it's a 20-hour-a-week program. Most of the training occurs at the nonprofit where you are. You happen to be at the community action here in town. We also pay for computer training, both in terms of tuition and seat time. So I do believe that's an advantage for a lot of people who want to get their skills updated but may face some barriers getting there by themselves. A few more questions for you, Peter. You were out of the workforce, or at least not participating as much as you wanted to for quite a while, and now you're back and you're part-time at Brock. Do you feel better? Do you feel better about yourself?
I do. My self-esteem has risen quite a bit, and my son is getting a wedding on August 7th, and I'll be able to afford it.
Yes.
And because of this program, you know, I couldn't afford it. That's anxiety producing.
Sure.
You know, and so I'm very grateful for the program, because basically it lets me do something that is very important to me.
I'm glad. Well, there's a whole lot of research about how people who are unemployed and who want to be working but are not, they tend to feel isolation. They tend to be at greater risk of health problems, including depression and loneliness. And that getting back somewhere, even for 20 hours a week, even part-time, has a tremendous impact on their overall well-being and health. And I'm glad to hear that, not only from you, from many participants, that this program tends to have a very positive impact on someone's overall wellness, which I think is a huge part of employability.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Peter. So, Mr. Mike Washington,
Hi.
You are a former participant in the senior program.
Yes.
And tell us what you're doing now.
Currently, I'm working as an employment specialist at Northeast Career Planning. They're located in Albany, and they were part of my job search, which I had to widen just a little bit while I was in the program. And I'm loving it. It's, you know, they actually have heard of Vermont Associates, the mature worker program. New York State has something similar, not as detailed as Vermont Associates, but they do have mature worker programs that also encourage older workers to come back, and most of it is vocational training type stuff. But so when I presented that at the interview, you know, they said, "Oh, really?" And they lightened up, and then you know, kind of like opened the door for some really good conversation, and I was offered a position.
Sure. Well, the Senior Community Service Employment Program is available in all 50 states in the United States. We operate in the state of Vermont and Connecticut, and we connect with employers a lot. We try to do everything that we can to advocate for the participants that we have in our program while they're looking for a job, trying to get them an interview, and then after they've interviewed, we try to do what we can to help secure the job. Tell me a little about your time in the program. Tell me what you feel was beneficial about being with us. Do you feel it was a skills growth?
Yeah, it was a lot. You know, I tell you the truth, I came in with some skills, having worked on Wall Street for a number of years back in 19th century. No, it was a long time ago. And so, you know, I did have some skills. I worked in office. You know, I've done office work all my life. But when I started going to the monthly trainings, and you know, when I first inquired about this program, I realized that there was an opportunity for me to learn new things, number one, a lot of new things to learn, and also to, you know, create a current resume, so to speak, of skills and knowledge. My journey has been one that's had some adversity, a lot of it self-inflicted. I'm a person in recovery, long-term recovery, and so I had very few options when I first came to the program. At the time that I did decide to check in with the program, I was already volunteering at the Turning Point Center. Brian forgot to mention that. It's one of the nonprofits too that we work with. Actually, I don't think it was at the time. And that's the thing I like about Vermont Associates, the flexibility, is that I was volunteering at Turning Point Center, and then I decided to fill out the paperwork for Vermont Associates. And right in front of us was this opportunity. And so the people, I forgot who was it, it wasn't Carol, it was someone else who Nicole, obviously it was Nicole, but then there was whoever was down here. I forgot her name, she's gonna kill me because she's watching, because we actually became good friends. Saw the opportunity for me to become a trainee at Turning Point. So I wasn't I didn't have to leave Turning Point because I really enjoyed, my time there. And so we just did the paperwork. She came over and met with the director, and I got on board as a trainee. I had to remove the volunteer tag, so to speak, because it was a whole different, process involved. But I was able to stay there and as the volunteer coordinator, and benefit from Vermont Associates training and the classes that we had once in a while. Like we had the computer training. That was really good, and it was nice because I needed some updating on things. So yeah, it was just really a great experience to be able to, come in and get a little stipend every couple of weeks. That helped too. The money that's involved. There was a limit of 20 hours, like you said,
Yes.
to work there. But yeah, the experience was great, and really helped me, like I said, to build my resume up and learn a lot of things about that particular nonprofit.
I always find it so interesting to hear people's backgrounds before they come into the senior program,
Yeah.
because it's such a diverse group that we have.
Yeah.
We have many, many people who were perhaps retired and either got bored or
Yeah.
found out that they couldn't afford to retire yet, so
Yeah.
they really needed to go back to work for some important reason in their life. We have many other people who faced an unexpected layoff, and
Right.
they had to reinvent their skills for some reason,
Right.
and they need help to do that. And then we have people who face some kind of significant barrier to employment in their life, and they need help navigating around that barrier to secure a job that they can retain for a long period of time. So I always find it interesting to
Yeah.
hear what people did before they came to us and how
Yeah.
we can transfer those skills that they have now and put that to work for some host agency, some nonprofit in town. And that really is the objective of the senior program. It's a dual purpose mission of the SESEP. 50% is to help seniors to get jobs training and get jobs, and 50%, equal importance, is to provide a community service for nonprofits and really to support community building and support community activities in a meaningful way. And that's the work that our participants do, and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice. And one of the things I want to say is that, working at Turning Point, or training at Turning Point also provided that organization with an opportunity to get good work
Yes.
out of me, and also to get a look at somebody who they did actually write up an offer letter for me. Because the whole goal of this is to, you're getting basically a free look. You're getting a chance to get somebody in to do work and train, but at the same time, if things open up, if positions open up, if money's available, we're already in the door. And Vermont Associates provides that for us. We're already there. Yeah, we still would have to go through a formal interview, I'm sure, fill out an application, but we're already there, so we can keep an eye on job postings and we can do other things. It opens us up to be able to do other types of research, job research, and check the market, which are monthly meetings that we have as a Vermont Associates participant, provides. I heard, I really was open up to a lot of job leads being a participant.
Yes.
Even though I was training at one particular nonprofit, I was able to keep my eye on the market with all of the information that is provided during our training session. So, overall, but the organizations get a great opportunity to, get a good worker in there and get a good look at them. And so at the time that they do make an offer, it could be 6 months later, it could be a year later, they already know what they're getting.
Yes.
And that's great.
Well, Vermont Associates helps hundreds of participants every year in Vermont and Connecticut, and about a third of the people who leave the program for a job end up leaving for a job at their own host agency.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The nonprofits get tremendous skills and tremendous contributions by participants that are trainees and then perhaps ultimately employees.
Yeah. And that's true. And like I said, I was offered a position at Turning Point. Unfortunately, we couldn't come to an agreement on the amount of hours and things like that, things that I know I needed personally in my life. And those things happen sometimes. But the fact that I spent time there and then was given an opportunity that was my first job offer in years, coming off of the situation I was coming out of. And so that felt good. And you said something earlier, Pete, that was significant about the self-esteem, feeling worthy. And we don't realize it sometimes, how important it is to be part of something.
Yes.
Whether it's work or some sort of group or hobby or something that keeps us motivated and makes us happy to wake up in the morning and have something to do. So during this, I call it an interim period of unemployment or whatever it might be, to be a part of that really does make you feel better about yourself, and
Yes.
and then there's more production as a result.
Yes, and research does show that the longer someone is unemployed, the harder it becomes to find work again.
Yeah.
And so being in the senior program and going and training for 20 hours a week, you're not exactly unemployed.
Yeah.
You are very much contributing and learning and showing that you are active and motivated, and that, I believe, has a significant impact on your ability to find work again in the near future.
Yeah.
Mike, why do you like your job?
Oh, well, one of the reasons I wanted to be with Vermont Associates is I made a career change into human services.
Yes.
And, you talked about the 4 brackets of organizations, that you basically work for: the healthcare, customer service. Well, human services encompasses all of that.
Yes.
It's a customer service field, it's a health field, mental health field. And so there are a lot of different reasons that I'm very happy where I'm at now. One of them is that I'm helping people. And as someone who has come through a system and benefited from the help of others in human services, programs like Vermont Associates, now I'm basically repeating everything I learned through the program, because now people are coming to me who face significant barriers to employment. The only thing that's different is that it's not age related all the time. It could be developmental challenges.
Sure.
I work with ex-offenders returning to society, significant barrier there in trying to find work. People who made mistakes in life and, deserve a second chance to see if they can do something, be productive citizens. We work with so many different people. I have 2 deaf clients.
Interesting.
Who are able to work and self-sustain. It's just that they need help in the process of finding a job, of doing job research, and maybe going on an interview, which we do. We do job coaching. So to answer the question, the opportunity to help others, it's almost like looking in the mirror, because I traveled a lot of their paths.
Yes.
So it's very easy for me to empathize and encourage and motivate, because I've been there and I know that sometimes it can look dark, but we have to keep fighting. I always believe that it's not how many times you fall, it's how many times you get up.
Yes. Well, I agree. It's always so fascinating to watch how people reinvent themselves later in life. That someone like yourself can go from having a very successful career and having another very different, very successful career.
Yeah.
And I often hear participants talk about how much they love learning, and that they really love the program because it's a chance to do something that they've never done before, and it tends to be a very exciting time in their life.
Yeah.
And that's part of why I love doing what I do.
Yeah. Well, you guys do great work, and I tell you the truth, there's something humbling also about sitting in those training classes and just being a part of this, because when you do get older, you tend to think we're referred to as people with wisdom, and we have all of this knowledge, and that's true, I think, to some extent, like you said earlier, about life knowledge, and that plays a significant role in employment. But it's also humbling to sit and realize that you don't know everything.
Yes.
And so, if we can open our minds and continue to learn, because once that stops, then a lot of things stop.
Yes.
And this is an opportunity to learn, and like you said, maybe reinvent yourself without realizing that you had something to reinvent. I didn't realize how good I was as a helper, as someone who can deal with other people and work with people, until I started getting the opportunity to do so. And that's and I got that opportunity with Vermont Associates. And now I feel very comfortable where I'm at, and it's something that I wish, of course, looking back, that I had knew about myself a long time ago, because I'm really enjoying it now. You know, it's really nice.
Well, thank you. Peter, as a current participant, is there anything you'd like to say to someone who is considering applying to the program but isn't sure if this is a good thing for them or not?
Be not afraid. I think that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Be not afraid.
Be not afraid.
We actually are pretty nice people. So Brian, can you tell us the basic eligibility requirements? Many people who are watching, I hope, are enticed to call us on the phone and learn a little bit more about whether they might qualify for the program and
Right.
whether we can help them.
Sure.
Take us through the eligibility.
First of all, they have to be a resident of the state of Vermont. Second, they have to be 55 or older. Third, they have to be unemployed. Fourth, they have to meet the income requirements.
Very good. And those are things that we, as far as the income requirement, that is something that we can work with someone one-on-one to
Oh,
help
yeah.
them determine. So don't worry about the income. Let us help you figure it out. Don't worry about doing the math on your own. Many people who come to us just aren't sure if this is the right thing for them, and that's why we're here. We want to talk people through it and help figure out if this is the right thing for them, if they do want to find the training that we have to offer, and that's a big part of what you do every day. And you're quite good.
Yeah, you are.
Yay.
So we would very much like to thank our friends here at CAT-TV in Bennington, Vermont for this opportunity. I thank Michael Washington, Peter Balterman, and Brian White for being with me. Again, I am Mary Branagan from Vermont Associates for Training and Development. And if you are interested in applying for the Senior Community Service Employment Program, please call us at 1-800-439-3307 or visit us at our website, www.vermontassociates.org. Thank you.